It's an overcast sky and cold wind which greets the extra early Marble Arch rush hour on Saturday, May the 26th, as 38 of Britain's top racing cyclists move off at 5 a.m. at the start of one of our classic events. This is Europe's longest single-day unpaced cycle race, the London to Holyhead, a distance of 265 miles. Still wrapped in tracksuits and with the benefit of a 4 o'clock steak breakfast, they travel up the Edgware Road in a gaudy procession as most of London still sleeps. The race is neutralised at this point, which means they do not commence racing until out of the built-up areas. Just past Edgware, the red and white checkered flag goes down and the race is on in earnest. Already the riders put on pressure and the entourage of service and feeding vehicles have to increase speed to keep up with the fast-moving bunch. The clock shows that it's 6:15 as the leaders enter St Albans with 20 miles covered. A few moments later, the main bunch streams through the almost deserted town. It's tough going in this first breakaway of the day, as Albert Roberts, up front, soon finds out. Not many miles further, and the riders are together again. Here, the main bunch settle down to the hard slog ahead, with nearly 200 miles still to go. As we track past them, they show no weariness in spite of the buffeting from the wind. Enthusiasts can easily recognise some of the star riders, who are probably thinking of the first feeding station about 10 miles ahead. In spite of the hard work that the bunch are doing, in a few more miles the day's second break of Hitchin, Ryan and Roberts is already a minute up. The leaders pick up some welcome refreshment near Kilsby after 76 miles, and the bunch come through to take their second breakfast with very little time lost. Even the backroom boys in the service cars get hungry, and the ever-ready helpers pass up some more food and drink. 100 miles nearly completed, and the breakaway is still maintaining its lead of 2 minutes. Roberts has had enough, but Hitchin and Ryan keep their lead, having completed the first 100 miles in 4 3/4 hours. The bunch get no shelter from the bitter northeast wind which still blows into their faces. Down comes the rain as they pass through Atherstone, where an unfriendly bus tries to put them up onto the pavement. Undeterred, they pedal on, trying to cut down the lead held by the two Falcon riders. In spite of the wind, Hitchin and Ryan keep going, doing bit and bit as they complete 120 miles. But their lead is slipping away, and a chasing bunch of 4 riders just ahead of the main field are steadily closing the gap. Just a few miles from the second feeding station, and it's one big bunch again. It was 60 miles alone for the Falcon men, and they're probably happy to be back in the shelter of the main field. They reach the Red Hill feeding station with 130 miles to go as the eagerly awaited food and drink is passed up. Some sunshine, the first of the day, helps to warm the chilled limbs, but there's not much improvement in the weather, which gets colder as they press on into the biting wind. They've left the Shrewsbury bypass and there's no turn again at Whittington. It's straight on at the A5 as one of the road marshals guides them round a dangerous bend. A cheery wave from a customer at England's last pub as the field cross into Wales, where the first rider up Chirk Bank is Pete Riles of Viking, who pulls away in fine style a minute ahead of the bunch. Time to look at the scenery as the main field, with Fairhead and Hitchin leading, take the steep climb in their stride. Riders are left in the race, and 207 miles have gone as they pick up their last feed at Kerrig. There's been high drama in the early part of the race. Unseen by us at the front, Hitchin and Britton punctured, but are now back with the field. Dennis Tarr, who broke his chain a few miles back, is now 2 minutes down. Ryan tries to go it alone, but even without his tracksuit, the going is very hard and he is soon caught by the bunch. Out of Bangor, the welcome sight of Telford's masterpiece, the Menai Bridge, the gateway to Anglesey, which comes into view across the straits. There's only 20 miles or so to Holyhead, and thanks for the reminder, that's been going on all day. Still 24 riders left. and Doug Collins looks back to find that his teammate Dennis Tarr has rejoined the bunch as they hammer over the bridge for the final onslaught. Anglesey lives up to its reputation as the sunny isle, and for the first time in 240 miles, the wind no longer blows against them. Over the last miles, as we arrive at the already crowded Newry Beach Promenade, the battle for supremacy reaches its peak. Yorkshireman Hitchin with Collins and Tarr of Condor-Mackerson are away together for the last few miles. And it's Dennis Tarr who crosses the line to take the £100 first prize, a length ahead of Hitchin with Doug Collins in third place. Most of the other 24 finishers come in fairly close behind, and all receive a hero's welcome, which they richly deserve. Tiny Tarr gets many youthful congratulations and a well-earned drink. His time for the 265 miles was 12 hours, 41 minutes, 55 seconds, or an average of nearly 21 miles an hour. Amidst resounding applause, he mounts the rostrum of victory, and so ends the London Holyhead Classic for 1962. A great race, and we hope the weather's kinder to them next year.